Hey everybody, it is Glenn with RocketCityHomes.com. Hope you are doing well. Let's take a look at interest rates and then we'll talk about the real estate market here in the North Alabama area. Today's interest rates are 6.95 for the 30-year fixed. The 15-year fixed is at 6.30. The 30-year jumbo is at 6.69. The 5/1 ARM is sitting at 6.90. The 30-year FHA is sitting at 6.63. And the VA 30-year is sitting at 6.62. Over the last several months, obviously, interest rates have been high. They're fluctuating. They'll go down 1/4%. They'll go up 1/4%. They're just kind of hovering in the mid to high sixes. And I really think before we're going to see things start improving in our housing market, we're going to have to be at 6 or a little bit below. We're starting to see some signs that that may be coming. The Fed did not increase the interest rates this last meeting, which was last week. However, they do think there might still be some increases. I think it's just all going to depend on what goes on in the economy. It's going to depend on what happens with unemployment numbers and then the consumer price index. So we are starting to see some signs that these interest rate hikes are slowing the economy down, but it takes time for that to happen. So hopefully they won't make a rash decision and increase them. I would really like to see them start trending downward. There's a lot of people that need homes here. And but they're not willing to pay the interest rates that they're at. So taking a look at our market stats for North Alabama, as we always do, we track Huntsville, Madison, Athens, and Decatur, and they're all color coded. The first thing we're going to look at the median sales price. Median sales price in Huntsville is $322,500. That's down a little bit from last year. In Madison, it is $368,268. That is down almost 10%, 9.2%. Athens, $309,900, which is down 2.6%. And then Decatur, $250,000, down 7.4% from a year ago. Month over month, though, the last couple of months, things you'll notice here, we're starting to trend upward a little bit. So we are starting to see, the numbers heading up. They're not drastic, and I don't think they will be. But we are starting to see, 1.5% increase. New listings for this last month, 328 in Huntsville, which is 13% less, 13.7% less than last year. Madison, 194, which is a reduction of 18.1. Athens, 140, reduction of 7.9 compared to last year. And then in Decatur, there's 80, which is a dramatic decrease of 40.7 compared to last year. So hold that thought, though, because when we look at the total number of homes for sale, those are significantly higher than they were. I mean, if you just look at this chart, where we were last year compared to where we are now. I mean, now Huntsville, 503 homes currently on the active on the market. That's a 70% increase from a year ago. Madison, 326. That's a 23% increase. Athens, 318, 60% increase. And then Decatur's doing its own thing right there. They're actually lower at 4.2. There's many more homes on the market. Days on market, a year ago, this thing was, there were homes that would come on the market and that by the end of that day, they were off the market. That was very common, multiple offers, all this crazy stuff. So it's not that these numbers are great over here. When we look at Huntsville at 5, Madison at 8, Athens at 11, and Decatur at 9, those aren't ideal unless you're a seller, then they're awesome. But for the buyer's perspective, you still got to get out there pretty quick, but you do have a little bit of time now. Last year, 18 months ago, it was you go see it, you put in the offer, that's it. Now you have time to generally see homes and you get to make some selections. As far as you can be a little more picky now. Month supply. We always talk about this. This is just how much inventory we have. If not one more home comes on the market based on our current rate, then there'd be no more homes for sale in Huntsville. In 2.1 months, we'd run out of homes for sale. That's a 133% increase compared to last year. Madison's at 2.4, which is a 71.4% increase. And then Athens, 3.5. And it's a 105% increase from last year. And then in Decatur, 1.7. So the only one that trended down just a little bit this month was over in the Athens. But we are starting to see this climbed slowly. This is what I want more for a balanced market, certainly better than it was a year ago. And hopefully we'll still see it tick up a little bit. I'd really like to see anywhere from 3 to 5 months inventory here for all of our communities. That's just more of a balanced market. And so that makes things a little bit more fair, I guess you could say, for both parties. Price per square foot, Huntsville's 160. That's an increase of 1.9 compared to last year. Not bad. Madison, you're flat from a year ago. I'm okay with that. Athens 165, it's up 1.9% compared to a year ago. And then Decatur's down just a little bit. From just my perspective, I like to see, I do want to see prices increase per square foot over time. However, I don't want to see drastic increases. Like we said, at the height of the market, things were just out of control and these numbers were going up significantly every month. Now we're starting to see just 1%, 0.5% over a month. And that's much more realistic. And that's really going to get us back to that balanced market. Everybody had said that they really thought the market this summer was really going to take off and it was going to get crazy again. I don't think it can. I think with the interest rates where they're at, there are so many buyers that just, when they start plugging that into a calculator and they start looking at a mortgage payment for a $400,000 home when it was at 4% even, or 3% compared to 6.5 or 7, they just can't stomach that kind of payment. So they're either just continuing to rent for right now or they're not moving. And that's one of the big things we have here. Our family, for example, we don't need necessarily the size home we have anymore. Our kids are getting ready one is in college, one will be going to college in the next year. However, we are sitting at a very, very, very low interest rate. So it doesn't make sense for us to sell and then go purchase another home that's going to be significantly higher. So we need these prices to come back down a little bit more. So the last thing I want to talk about, Huntsville is currently, based on the U.S. News and World Report, is the number 2 place to live, best places to live in the United States. They do this report every year. Last year we were number 1. This year we're number 2. I think that's still phenomenal. This is a great area to live and to work and to play. The downtown is going through a major revitalization. City government is doing a great job with that. Madison has a great downtown area. Athens has a fantastic small town, great square area, courtyard. The court is down on the main square, which is just awesome. It's just great restaurants down there. There's just so many things to do in this area. If you have any questions about what I talked about today, or if you're thinking about moving to North Alabama and you just want to know more about it, about the different home builders, about pricing, just reach out. Let us know. Look forward to hearing from you, and we'll talk to you all next month.